it is your buddy Peace and Harmony with you here today. We're zooming in and focusing in a little bit more in depth in this series on when is it really practical? When is it really a good idea? When is it reasonable to confront or discuss a narcissist pathology with them? When is it good to go confront them, belly to belly, toe to toe, blow the lid off, or kind of expose them, if you will? And let's kind of get a little bit into the motive or the reason why someone would feel that they want to do that. For one, it would be to display their knowledge. So if you feel that you want to confront the narcissist because you want to share your knowledge, your learning, you want to throw these terms at them, you want to throw your knowledge and understanding of human behavior and see, and call them out on their shortfalls, their deficits, realize that oftentimes it's going to be met, it's going to fall on deaf ears. In other words, that person who is narcissistic, they are going to defend their mask, their persona, their public image, especially the pathology that they have put in the relationship. They are not going to let that go. They might tell you that I'm this or that. Very often, rarely not. They're not going to admit to any wrongdoing because they feel that they're really above the wrongdoing. They're going to feel justified in doing what they have said, done, behaved, felt, etc. They're not going to really feel apologetic or sorry, especially when it comes to hurting you, because if they did, they would have noticed along the way and made apologies and adjustments and adaptations along the way. So you cannot really begin to ascertain that, trying to share your knowledge with them is going to get you anywhere. It is to get somewhere for you to get somewhere in your life, to realize, to come to the knowledge and the understanding that there are these types of people who have a personality disorder, who have a pathological sense of self-importance. That means they're very willing to control and try to take credit for other people, try to tell people what they do, become an authority over them, oftentimes for no valid reason. They have a sense of superiority and entitlement in the way that they treat people, the way that they hurt people, the way that they will phrase their needs with a lack of empathy. So they will feel very justified and they'll feel very righteous and oftentimes become very hostile and get into narcissistic rage if they feel that their supply or that their mask is not being fanned. If they're appearing to have any chink in the armor, they are not going to like that. They do not like to admit their humanness. I mean, oftentimes people, when you really think about it, is, to err is human. And so, it's just, if you can be around people who understand that and who get that, it becomes a lot less pressure and you can develop real empowerment and real growth. And then real, that real sort of interior sort of security when you're around people who are like this. It's all a facade, it's all a mask. And that is really, when you blow the lid off that relationship, or you realize that this person has been very extreme, and maybe you fell in love with the extreme good, but you realize that it's not sustainable. It's not ergonomically correct. It's not, human economy. It's not the relationship. They don't have the chemistry. They don't have the neural wiring to be able to maintain a happy, fulfilling, balanced relationship. I mean, otherwise they would have done it by now. I mean, what I find oftentimes is that people are with these people for, years upon decades, and then finally, the back breaks, in the camel. A true exposure comes, during a life change. You're encountering a life stage change where either you're empty nesters, or the kids are growing, or you want a commitment, or it's time to move or get the finances together, or there's always going to be some bridge that you have to cross. And oftentimes that bridge, you cannot go to that next level with these types of individuals, because they're not going to take responsibility and accountability, especially for certain things like their shortcomings, meaning their lack of empathy. They're not going to present with this real emotional intelligence, which is open for discourse. So, oftentimes, they're going to react even worse. They're not going to react with apologies. In fact, they might shower on the love even more. They might just, tell you to forget about it, and then you'll be apt to see how many people then forgive and forget the narcissist, and then here they go and do it again. They hurt them again. They lie to them again. It's back into the same old funk. And then, why are you doing this? And then you're kind of like on uphill, going nowhere of a struggle. And yes, relationships require work. Interior growth requires work. It's saying, okay, wow, I can't be late for people, or I can't yell and cuss at people, or, it's not nice for me to do X, Y, and Z. It's a character development. That's part of human growth, becoming really the best and finest person you can. But oftentimes the narcissist or psychopath, this is kind of like sarcasm for them. I mean, they feel above and beyond it all, and they feel that they can mistreat others. It's that they have a certain right to behave the way that they do, and they're not going to make any excuses or any apologies for that. In fact, in the state of the psychopath, who's really lacking and devoid of a conscience, they really know that they don't have a gut of connection with others. They really just look at what opportunity can they take. So their vision of what they get out of life is much different than the mass of society who feel a heart, or feel connection to others, or feel hurt when others are hurt, or feeling that they would want to donate or help others, contributing to a larger cause, and that this makes an impact and improves their life. So they're not registering that at all. There's no really sort of reservoir or resource within that person to be able to have a discourse and come to a closure with you. So if you feel like you want to confront them, they're going to look at you, kind of like dumbfounded, and they might not have a lot of reaction, because they're kind of like, this person's figuring me out, or, do you think, are they really going to, are they really going to leave this time? And the hard thing I think that you need to understand is that, the psychopath that does not really care, because, they're lining up, a number of different targets, supply, businesses, whatever it is that they are involved in, and they will do precisely to you what they have done to another. So don't, feel like, well, so-and-so is going to have it better than me, and, and so I don't want to let them go because I deserve all the good stuff. I've given them all the good stuff. It is not going to be better. Without a doubt, it is not going to be better to the one who, who they're juggling on the side or lying to or whatever it is. It is not. Do not feel that, it was anything that you have done wrong, or, that you weren't good enough for them. It is just how they act in relationship. It's just how they treat people. And you might see the facade, you might see other people getting along gleefully with them, and you wonder, why can't that be me? Well, instead of asking that, why, poor me, and having the, that self-doubt and that pity party, as we say, begin to say, wow, I'm so glad I got out of line of fire of that one person. I'm so glad to be beyond, the swing of the hit, the sabotaging, and to be constantly, not be trusted, to feel that my decisions were not right, or that I have to work so hard to please this person. Eventually, you want to come into a natural state of happiness, contentment, and that will really be there on a continual basis, which you can bring with you into your relationships. But you need to kind of clear the air within yourself and just say, wow, you know what, I went through a really rough ride, and it's been a long time, but the feet are on the ground, the eyes, our vision are clear moving forward, and I'm going to surround myself with people who remind me of the positive aspects of me, who are able to embrace me for who I am, don't constantly want to change me, criticize me, or make me jump through hoops, just to have, an everyday relationship where it's not so high maintenance. Waking up and having to text this person, worried, all that goes on with a relationship with a personality disordered individual. Realize that you deserve better, and that oftentimes the learning, that you just, you want to, that you have garnered now, and seeing this person is not right for you, then have that aha moment and say, even though I don't want to accept this, I want to reject the notion, but this person is not right for me. Yes, we had this, epiphany of times, and I had so banked on this person, or my hopes were so elated. I thought this was really going to be, the perfect match, the perfect mate, the perfect match, the love of my life. I gave them, my heart. If you still have a heart, you didn't give it all away. Don't begin to feel remorse and regret. Begin to have a sense of apology and forgiveness of yourself for having been down that road, or being hurt, because you did love to get hurt. You did have true love. You did have these desires, and you still do have these desires. It doesn't mean that life isn't going to have more of these sort of moments in store, but let them be with a true, authentic, real person who can actually back up, versus an unsustainable, personality disordered individual who is going to be, nothing but chaos and struggle, and really kind of bring that sort of torturous into a relationship, versus a sustainable, happy relationship that you can really rest on. It is your buddy, Peace and Harmony, with you here today, and I hope that these videos do help. Please share and please subscribe for more great tools, videos, discussion, and support.